Why don't we be more like civilized countries instead of a third world country like America and take these guns away because the people cannot be trusted with them.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't say America's a third world country, but I will say that buybacks don't really work, especially with American culture, because of, well, I mean, like lots of times when buybacks have happened, I mean, literally like nobody turns that stuff in, and when they do, a lot of times they'll even just turn in like airsoft guns or something and
like civilized countries instead of a third world country like America and take these guns away
with Biden's
because the people
ATF
cannot be
pick, David
trusted with them.
Chapman.
Well, he's no longer going to be.
Oh, is it not? Oh,
Nope.
That's news to me. Well, regardless, Biden's pick would definitely be competent enough to be able to tell the difference between an airsoft gun and a weapon of war. So I don't think that would be an issue.
So would you buy back all guns?
Every single gun. I wouldn't even stop at guns. I think we should go after every single projectile based weapon.
Okay. Well, do you think that would just stop murder entirely?
I think it sure would help.
Okay, let's say hypothetically if we somehow did manage to get every gun off the street, right?
Okay.
Then, I still don't think that would just stop crime, because think about times before we had guns, like freaking like, let's just say it was the year like 1400 or something. It's not like crime didn't exist because there wasn't guns, right?
Sure.
There was still murders and stuff. Like, it's just the medium changes, but it, like, that's about it. Like, if we somehow did manage to get every gun off the street, it just, I mean, it used to be a sword, now it's gun.
Okay.
And, what's the difference? Really? I still don't think that I would rather not give the people who that would like to defend themselves a lower chance by saying, like, hey, you can no longer carry a gun, now you can only, say, I don't know, carry a pocket knife or something like that. But then
you say what's the difference between a gun and a sword? I mean, the Las Vegas shooting wasn't done by a sword, so its volume is the issue.
No, I'm talking about if you were on the street or something and somebody came up to
shootings don't happen on the street.
Not generally, no.
What about schools?
Well, schools are gun-free zones.
Evidently not, because we have guns that exist still.
Well, okay, that's just proof on my argument saying no guns allowed doesn't get rid of guns, because obviously they're still there.
Well, if the school shooters didn't have guns, then they wouldn't be able to shoot up the school, correct? I mean, this is the common variable between all these things. I mean, you can't have a mass shooting without a gun.
Yeah, but people will still get guns. Like, there's no doubt about it. They will absolutely still get guns. Maybe
for a short term. But long term, once all guns are bought back and incinerated, then you won't have the issue. Then you have these one-off crimes. Hold on, please don't interrupt me. Then you have these one-off crimes you can deal with on a smaller local level, rather than having all these mass shootings and trans people dying in the streets and everything else. I mean, you severely cut back the amount of deaths.
Okay, what about, so say if somebody wanted to kill a bunch of people, right? What stops them from, let's say if there's some, like, protest in a town square or something, right?
Okay.
Let's say it's in a parking lot on the square. Just put a setting.
Okay.
What would happen if somebody came and drove a van through there and killed a bunch of people? Because that has happened, and not necessarily with protests, but, well, actually, yeah, I think it has too, but...
You can dodge a van. You can't dodge a bullet.
I think just saying that you could dodge the van doesn't really undermine the fact that people still got hit and killed by.
I mean, if you see a car coming at you, you're gonna stand in the way? No, of course not.
That's not how it works. That's like saying, are you gonna stand in the way of somebody pointing a gun at you? It's not that easy.
Well, if they didn't have a gun, I wouldn't have to worry about standing in front of the gun.
If they didn't have a car, I guess I'd never have to worry about getting ran over.
Maybe
that's not how it works.
Maybe so. I mean, I don't believe cars should exist on a climate change level, but that's not what we're talking about.
Okay, well, let's just use cars as an example. Like that, that has happened. And what was it? It was I think, gosh, what was it like? I forget what town it was, but somebody did drive a van into a bunch of people and killed like a ton of them. It's not like you can't just tell them to just get out of the way, because I mean, imagine driving on the side, or not driving, walking on the side of the street, and somebody just, I don't know, turns onto the sidewalk and starts running people over for no reason. It's not easy to get out of the way of that, especially when it's unexpected.
Well, I think that's a bit of a
And
false
it has
dichotomy.
happened.
I think if we put handrails on sidewalks, then you wouldn't have to worry about people in the street. But again, it's not really relevant to the conversation.
I think it is very relevant.
You can't dodge. I mean, I don't know how you're going to get me to agree with you. If you can dodge a car, you can jump out of the way. People dodge trains all the time.
Well, a train has a set path, and people still happen to get hit by trains, by the way. Here, okay. In 2016, a truck attack killed how many people? 86 people, and 458 people were injured. I don't think that's obviously you can kill people with a truck.
I mean, how many times does that happen a year or a decade? I mean, it's such a one-off incident, it's not even worth considering.
Okay, you can make the same arguments for mass shootings.
Well, it seems like we have a school shooting every 4 days.
No.
Statistically.
Statistically, any discharge of a firearm on school property is counted as a school shooting. Such as, for example, somebody killed themselves in the car at night, not on school hours, in the parking lot. That counts as a school shooting because the firearm was discharged on school property. Although these tragedies happen, and they're definitely horrible, they don't happen as often as people would like you to believe. And I think they shouldn't happen ever. But I think banning guns is definitely not the way to go about it.
So let me ask you this.
Obviously, there are schools are gun-free zones. And
so let me ask you this.
Hang on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's not like you're fine. Don't worry.
Okay, don't interrupt, please. Schrodinger.
It's fine. But
yes, don't interrupt.
I got it. Okay, so for example, kind of a school is kind of like let's say it's kind of like a model of mini society or something, just kind of as an example for if the people were not armed, say the students and the teachers, I guess. And then usually a lot of schools will have like police officers on campus. Well, then I can say you can kind of compare that to like a society without guns, right? Well, there are still people who will acquire firearms illegally in this sense, and in this case, it would just be bringing it into the school, and they can still do bad things. And now everybody is obviously unarmed, and bad things happen.
So let me ask you this: how many more school children need to die for you to understand that your right to a gun is less important than the right to a child's education?
Well, just saying that. Okay, so you're saying that me owning a gun or something is like directly contributing to children dying.
Well, I mean, it's the NRA and gun groups that are fighting against all that.
I don't like
saying,
the NRA.
Oh well, that's good. That's something we can agree on. But it's gun advocate groups and Second Amendment fetishists that are the ones arguing against gun control because they're not doing anything wrong. Well, clearly someone is doing something wrong, and they're getting their guns illegally. So if those people they took the guns from didn't have guns, how many more school children do you think will be alive?
I think you're kind of asking for an impossible task to be completed. Which
I think
in this case
I think it's completely impossible.
Okay, well, I think
Americans just don't care. I think Americans have an invested interest in not keeping children alive at this point.
That's okay. Yeah, it's pretty much any pro-gun person if they think that school shootings are a problem or something. It's that I think pretty much all of us agree on both sides of the argument that they are a problem. It's just that we think there are different solutions to it. One is just taking away a right from everybody, and then the other is maybe trying to instead defend the children rather than just making some law that doesn't work and leaving them defenseless once again.
Is your right to have an AR-47 worth more than a 7-year-old child's life trying to go to school?
Okay, that's Hey, how long have you been on the server?
Quite a while.
Uh-huh. Okay, who's the founder of the server?
I don't know
I
how that's
thought
relevant.
we were
to
having a
this
conversation about gun control.
No.
You just
This
said
is not relevant to the debate.
no. It's very relevant. You just said
No,
AR-47.
no.
Well, I mean, what is
sure.
it? Did I
Understand.
misspeak? I mean, I don't know gun names.
Okay. Do you actually? Are
I
you
don't
being
understand.
like?
Why are you
Hey,
changing the subject?
I'm not.
Are you
This
here
is
to argue
on
in bad
topic.
faith? This is not on topic.
It is very on topic. Listen, I'm asking: are you really arguing for gun control, or
Absolutely.
is this entire server a joke?
I'm absolutely arguing for gun control.
Okay.
I mean, this is something that is extremely dear to me. So I mean, if you want to invalidate my protests, my experiences in my life experience, I mean, that's fine. You can do that, but I don't appreciate you discrediting me like that.
It seems like you're
like a
arguing in bad
cop-out.
faith. You've been backed into a corner, and now you're playing this doing this little shtick.
No. I feel like my points have been completely reasonable, but I'm talking about the fact that you said AR-47. That's pretty common in making fun of gun control advocates. So
I guess. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, then I misspoke. So I apologize.
I'm asking: are you being ironic? Essentially,
no, I'm not.
Are you sure?
As sure as I've got 2 feet on the ground.
I'm inclined to not believe that.
You don't have to believe me, but I'm arguing good faith.
Okay. Well, I don't really follow. You're wanting me to post this to YouTube and your server link everywhere, so I'm like assuming
I don't understand.
A lot of this is for attention.
I don't know who said that to you.
Let's see who did. Where are they? Who's Sleepy? And I'm pretty sure Caspian. You said something about that.
I don't know.
No, when I asked you, I didn't know if you wanted to have. I mean, we talked about that. I don't know if you want to have your people.
None of them are going to be on the debate apart from us two, so I don't think it mattered, and I pointed that out. I don't care if everyone in the audience disagrees with me. That's not the point. It's that.
I don't know. Like, again, it just seems like you're trying to trivialize this entire debate.
Well, it's the same thing.
Pretty disappointing.
Children did.
Again, I don't understand. You just keep
I'm not saying you specifically want children dead. I'm just asking how much that's worth to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Okay. If you want to continue on about that, about wanting children dead, it's okay. Would I rather stand there with let's say a kid next to me or something? Let's just say I'm on the street and this kid next to me, some dude comes up, says he's gonna shoot my kid. Would I rather shoot him first, or would I rather just say, no, you shouldn't have that gun, that's illegal?
Well, if he didn't have that gun to begin with, you wouldn't be in that situation.
Well, he does have it. It doesn't matter.
Well, if guns weren't real in an ideal society.
Well, we don't live in an ideal society.
No, we don't, but we can strive to go further with that. That's the whole purpose of our server and our message, is we're trying to shape a fair and equitable world.
So you're saying guns, your argument is that just guns shouldn't be real? Essentially.
But I understand that's a tough task, so we start with gun control and heavy regulation.
Okay, and what happens after gun control? Like, what's the end goal usually in history?
Well, gun control is the first start. Then we go to the buybacks.
No, I'm talking about historically. What correlates with gun control?
Less deaths.
Or an oppressive government.
Well, we're not in an oppressive government, so I don't think you have to worry about that.
I think taking our guns away is pretty oppressive. That would,
how?
To me, define. What do you mean, how?
How?
That.
I mean, you spend all your time reloading as quick as you can. I mean, how does that protect you from the government?
Do you think I don't shoot the guns?
I haven't seen you shoot any.
Well, then you didn't watch any of the videos.
Well, there's only so much I could handle.
Alrighty then. Okay, well, I shoot my guns. Most of my more popular videos are reloading guns because that's just what people find it satisfying. I don't see an issue with that.
Hey, that's fine. I mean, whatever your target audience wants, I respect that.
Yeah, but I don't think. Okay, you're saying that like I haven't videoed myself shooting federal agents, so I'm not doing anything against that. Like, what are you saying exactly?
I am not going to say that at all.
Okay.
I did not say that.
Well, then I guess I don't really understand where you're going with saying I just reload guns.
Well, let's move on from this topic because I feel like we're getting just a bit of circular logic. Do you have any points you would like to make?
You're not going anywhere.
Let's see. Well, okay, I was talking about how I feel like one of the first steps to kind of becoming an oppressive government is definitely to start gun control. And I mean, you look at, I know everybody uses this example, but like Nazi Germany, for example, or just any sort of kind of like fascist government or something, they don't want their civilians having guns to fight against them or anything like that. And you say like, yeah, okay, the US is definitely not to a point of like Nazi Germany or anything, obviously. But the thing is, it's like, well, it doesn't switch from night and day. Like that takes time, and you give them a little, like inch by inch, it can become something like that. I'm not saying that it is, but it could become that, and I'd rather just that not be a possibility.
So, in the slight, minute chance that we have an oppressive government,
I wouldn't say it's very minute, but
well,
continue.
In the minute chance that we have an oppressive government, how many children are you willing to let die so you can fight back against an F-16?
What?
What? Do you really think you're going to win against the United States government?
Yeah.
I mean, like Joe Biden said, you're gonna need a nuke in F-15s to beat the government.
Okay, so you're saying that, okay, let's say that if just an all-out civil war started in the U.S., right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, first of all, there are more armed citizens than there are soldiers in the U.S. military, and
okay, and they all have military training.
No, but that doesn't necessarily like. Okay, for example, do you think like okay, take Vietnam? Those aren't all people that are expertly trained. It's okay. Let me go back to what I was saying. It's saying that like, how are we going to fight against F-16s and nukes? Well, Joe Biden can't just nuke every town in the U.S., right?
Sure, he can.
Okay, well, I'd say that's something worth fighting for if he's going to nuke everyone. Then that includes
how are you going to fight if you're vaporized?
If everyone is being killed, you wouldn't try and do anything.
How are you going to fight if you're vaporized?
You wouldn't.
Exactly. Okay. So there's no point in having guns then.
Okay, so Joe Biden would nuke everyone in the U.S.
Would he?
No, he can't.
Why not?
If he nuked everyone in the U.S., there would be no U.S. Like, okay, that's not how you can't say. The thing with the Civil War is it's going to be just guerrilla warfare and stuff. It's like you don't have this country is your enemy. It's every 10th person in your society is your enemy. So you can't just kill everyone. That's not how it works.
What do you mean guerrilla warfare?
Okay, I mean that
like the animal, or is that like a name of a tactic, or what are you getting at?
It's a tactic, not like Gorilla the monkey. Although it would be down for that. Listen, so if you were going against everyone that like, okay, that in this like hypothetical civil war, right? You can't just bomb every neighborhood because let's say I don't know, 80% of those people aren't fighting against you. Now, if you got into, like, say there was a specific battle that happened at, I don't know, let's just say some town in Wisconsin. If there was a specific gunfight that broke out.
Like Kenosha, Wisconsin, or where? Where in Wisconsin?
I'm just coming up with a random location. I don't mean anyone.
I didn't know if you were referring to like the Kenosha massacre that happened last year or not. If that's what it was based on.
Massacre, I would hardly call it that.
Well, but 3 protesters needlessly died. But okay. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I guess we'll circle back to that then. Okay, so if there's an actual battle or something, then there's an obvious who's on whose side is what I'm getting at. Is you have the United States military, and then you have the organized group that you're fighting against. But why I'm saying you can't just use F-16s and nukes on everyone is that how do you know who all those people are? When you're not in a battle like that or something, say it's like everybody's going to start fighting against you.
Well, anyone not in fatigues, I would assume, is not a part of the military.
So they're just going to shoot everyone?
Well, everyone that's shooting at you.
That's not.
I mean, is there any reason for a civilian to have a weapon of war like that? I mean, is there any reason to have a 30-round clip in your gun?
Do you know? Okay, what does an AR-15 do differently? I want to hear that from you.
An AR-15?
Yeah.
Well, it's cheap, it's easy to get, and it can shoot 30 rounds very quickly. It is the most popular gun for all murders and homicides and school shootings.
Definitely not the most popular gun for all murders and homicides.
Sure, yeah, it definitely is.
No, not even close.
Well, I don't hear anyone shooting up a school with a Glock.
School shootings don't account for all of the homicides in the U.S. You know,
well,
most homicides are with pistols.
But school shootings are an epidemic that's going around that need to be stopped.
Okay, I agree. But if you're looking at all murders and homicides throughout the entire U.S., they're a extremely small proportion of it, and that is not saying they are not a problem. That is saying that AR-15s are definitely not the main weapon that is being used to kill everyone, because most people are killed with pistols.
All right, well, we can agree to disagree on that. I've seen the stats. So I'll look up again later, but I've seen the stats.
Okay, look, fact checker. How many people are killed with pistols in the U.S. versus rifles?
Is there a fact checker on?
I don't know.
Yeah, we have
look at this.
Fact checkers are working hard on that, but also I would like to suggest that perhaps you would, either of you would like to have a 2v2 by selecting one person for each side.
No, that just get too loud.
No,
I think we can keep it cordial. I mean, we've been pretty cordial so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, our fact checkers are hard at work.
Well,
would that be something you'd be interested in doing? Hi, Gilbert.
Yes.
Hi, I'm the fact checker, and I just wanted to say I fact checked it, and Caspian is right.
How? Y'all gotta be ironic. Come on.
What?
Okay. What's
He
the
is
source
right.
then? What's the source?
It's an infographic.
What infographic? Yeah. Did you just post it?
No, I haven't posted any infographic.
Okay,
lately.
Well, can you post the infographic to the server so that I can see it?
Please don't see
live.
live.
Get it. Okay, so I don't have Nitro, and the file's too large to upload.
Okay.
Likely story.
I'm sure we can get it to you after
45.7% of homicides are with handguns, 2.6% with rifles, 1.4%
that will need to be fact checked.
shotguns, 23% with unknown
Can
firearms,
you send me that source?
10% with knives, 11.4% with other
Yeah,
weapons,
the source needs to be fact checked.
with
Can I see
hands,
that?
fists, feet, and etc. Please let me finish reading. And yes, I will.
Yeah, don't interrupt us, please. We're not done talking.
There you go. Hang zone 3. There you go. Source. I cannot send links. Yeah, I'll send it directly to you, Caspian.
Okay, well, send it to Gilbert because I'm not pulling it up right now.
That's your fact checker.
I'm not friended to Gilbert. I'm not friended to Gilbert.
I'll send you a request.
So back to your point that you were talking about what I think an AR-15 does differently. Where are you going with that?
Well, I'm saying, why is an AR-15 any worse than, say, a Mini 14?
What's a Mini 14?
It's a. Why don't you look up a picture of it? Can you do that?
I'm screen locked to the debate channel.
Oh, are you streaming or something?
No, I'm just screen locked because I'm a moderator on it, and I'm got a speaking role.
Can you pull out your phone?
It's
gonna be fairly difficult for me to just describe it to you if you're not very like.
I'll try and grab my phone. I think it fell on the floor, but can you just describe it in the meantime while I find it?
Okay. Well, it's a wooden rifle most of the time. That's semi-automatic. It uses detachable box magazines.
What's a box magazine?
Basically, okay. Do you know what a magazine is?
Like a clip?
No, a clip is either there's 2 types of, actually 3 types of clips. There's Mauser style stripper clips, which hold rounds that are used to strip into an internal magazine, generally of a bolt action rifle. And then the clip is disposed of. Or there's the, I forget what was it, it's the Mannlicher style one? Or the Steyr? I don't know, whatever. Another type of stripper clip. And then there's on-block clips, such as the M1 Garand, where the entire clip is inserted into the internal magazine. A magazine is what holds the rounds, and that can either be built into the gun, or it can be what they call detachable, where you can drop it and put a new one in, so you don't have to use like an on-block clip or a stripper clip.
Okay. So,
and there's many kinds. Well, okay. I'm asking, do you think, if you look up a picture of a Mini 14, do you think that's something that should be, I guess, banned or controlled or whatever?
It looks like it shoots a 30-round clip of whatever bullet it is. So I don't know why it wouldn't be banned.
Okay. You see the reasoning why I think y'all are being ironic, because I've told you multiple times it's a magazine?
Well, magazine clip, whatever. That's besides the point.
I have my report for the fact check.
Okay.
Okay, according to Rasmussen University website, about.com articles are not considered reliable or creditable resources in academic research, and this was a .com. And second of all, this is a law firm, and it doesn't say .gov, and the law is with the government, so it's not a reliable source.
It's not about law, though.
Yeah, it's a law site. It's Jocelyn Law Firm. It's the name of the site. And it's not a .gov.
This infographic is about the, what would you say, like the percentages of homicides being committed.
But it's attached to the Jocelyn Law Firm, and this is not a .gov source, so this can easily be
You can find the same statistic on a different website.
Yeah, let's be in fact check now.
Well, I don't really see where the holes in my logic are to fact check.
Yeah.
The fact that you just said
Our fact
that
checkers
it's
aren't
a
finding
.com,
anything.
so it's just completely invalid because it's a statistic, not anything about a law. It's not law that 46% of homicides are committed with pistols.
I know, but it's attached to the law firm, and it's like the source of the law firm. So, and it's not a .gov site that the infographic has been linked to and posted on. So, and according to my website, it is not valid.
You can't post your website. You say
I'll post my website.
Do it.
There, I sent it in your DMs, and then I'll send it in the Goodlands.
This is also a .com.
It's a fact checker, though.
No,
it's a university.
That makes it completely invalid, like you said. No,
it's a university.
But it's a .com.
But it's a university, and universities are reliable. I'm using
your own logic on you, okay?
Universities are reliable.
I wouldn't say that.
Please, I don't know why you're arguing with our fact checkers. We do good work.
Because fact checkers aren't always right. You can't just call yourself a fact checker and say you're correct.
But I checked the facts, and the facts said that you were wrong.
You checked a university site that is a .com, which you pointed out is invalid.
But it's a fact-checking site, and it's a university.
Yeah, I can name any site a fact-checking site and just say you're wrong. That's not how it works.
No, it's a fact-checking site. It's literally got like the answer and the question. Like you submit your question and it gets fact-checked.
By people in the college?
No, by the professional professors.
Okay, but you were telling me that it's still that the one I showed you was a .com, and it is completely invalid because of that.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't a .gov.
Okay, yours is
and
not.
And it's law, and I'm not going to believe it if it says it's law and it has no proof to back it up, even if it's linked.
Yours. You shouldn't.
Mine's a fact-checking site that I've always used, and I've fact-checked it. I've traced it way back. I've traced it way back. I always use this university site. Like always.
Yeah, it seems like you're in denial about the nature of these facts.
What does Chicago have to do with this? I literally don't see like what Chicago has to do with this. Well, that's
because you didn't let me finish, obviously. Go to Chicago. Tell me how many people are being killed with rifles compared to pistols.
Yeah.
Well, in Chicago, all those guns are stolen, so it's not irrelevant, or it's not relevant.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
well, if all those guns are stolen and they get them from across state lines,
okay.
Then what's how is it relevant? Because you're proving my point. You're proving my point that they're getting guns illegally.
Do you want FBI statistics? That's about as .gov as you get. Look.
Do you have any CDC stats? I prefer the CDC.
The CDC says that what was it? Hang on, let me find. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head. I'll get them for you though. Give me a minute.
Either way, I mean this isn't a source argument.
Prevent crime. The CDC says that 500,000 to 3 million crimes are stopped because of guns.
I'll have to look that up. That Gilbert, sounds fabricated.
Okay, find it. Gilbert, I sent you the FBI statistics. If you want to tell me that that's not reliable, go ahead. I'm not really going to care.
I'll take a dive.
But either way, I mean, Chicago's not relevant. All those guns are stolen.
I just told you that.
And bought illegally. I mean, Chicago's got a high crime rate because they go and buy guns where they are legal.
They can't use them. They're illegal.
They're illegal because they came from a place that were legal.
Okay, well then,
so if the place
going to Mexico and getting them, then it is always there's always some way to get them.
Government agencies that'll stop you. You can't even bring fruit back from Mexico. Why do you think you can bring back a gun?
You can bring back people.
No, you can't. Not legally. Try and get them through customs.
Not legally, but it's happened. People do it. You can do it with guns. It's hard, I'll say, but
I've got no problem with bringing people over from Mexico.
I don't really either. I didn't say anything about that. I'm talking about that.
So why are you even talking about it?
because you're saying it's impossible to bring guns over, but it's completely possible to bring people over illegally. I'd say a person is a lot harder.
That's a false dichotomy, and that's a straw man. So it's not even worth engaging with. It's absolutely that's a straw man. That's exactly what a straw man is. I mean, no one was talking about bringing people over from Mexico. We're talking about getting guns in the United States and bringing them somewhere else in the United States.
You know what I'm saying?
If those weapons were illegal in Wisconsin or any other border states, then they wouldn't be able to bring guns over. And bam, Chicago is a gun-free city and doesn't have any murders anymore.
That would
I just solved the gun epidemic in Chicago. You should be thanking me for this.
Oh my God, you have to be ironic.
I have returned with my fact check again.
Oh, please.
So the stat says how many crimes are stopped by guns, but not how many are started by them. And additionally, there's a note at the bottom of the page that says the Uniform Crime Reporting Technical Refresh enables, like, it basically has a long thing about how the data presented in this table may not match the previously published data. So, like, it's outdated.
Okay, well, here, for example, since y'all wanted the CDC, but now you don't like the CDC, or at least that statistic, I'll say that from personal experience, without a firearm being discharged, but the firearm being present, has stopped a potential crime that I know of, because I was out at night with my grandfather and grandmother at a graveyard at night, and someone pulled up to us in a truck randomly out of nowhere, definitely with some malicious intent, because we are in the middle of nowhere, some random country road, USA, and they pulled up to us, and my grandfather did, without just like shooting them, he kind of put his hand up where his holster is, set his hand there, and they went on. They were stopping to come do something, and from that happening, that, like, okay, my life and my grandfather's and grandmother's, something terrible could have happened there. And
do you have a source on that story?
You have to be joking.
I mean, no, my point is anecdotal is not anecdata. So
similarly, my fact check says that you don't know that there was like that intent. You don't know if they had that.
What it sounds like to me, it sounds like your family was threatening someone with a gun because they were scared, which is the big problem with gun owners in America, is they get scared and they get all shooty.
Or that,
I mean, you can't tell the future. You don't know what's going to happen.
Killed, Do you have no regard for your own safety?
I have regard for my own safety. That's why I want guns to be banned.
Okay, so someone comes up to you and says they're going to stab you.
No, I call the police or a social worker.
Yeah, because the police are going to get there in time. Yeah. Because he's not going to stab you before you can pull your phone out even.
On the same note, you can only stab one person at a time. But when you have a 30 round magazine clip and you start shooting everyone,
have happened. You know that?
Oh yeah, did they kill and injure 500 plus people in Las Vegas? Not really. That was done with an AR-15.
No, but a van did.
One time.
Okay, well, one time in Las Vegas.
Mass shootings aren't a one time in Las Vegas things. Mass shootings happen everywhere, all the time.
Okay, so do
Las Vegas is just
what
the worst.
Would you call that a drive-through?
What?
Yeah, well, so do vehicle attacks.
Not to the same scale, and that's not.
So do bombings.
Again, it's a straw man. It's a false dichotomy.
You're straw manning me by saying all gun owners are just gung ho.
I'm not straw. I'm not straw manning. Well, I mean, for your story, you're saying that your grandfather had to threaten someone with a gun to get them to stop doing what you may have thought they possibly could have done something in the future.
Here, hang on real quick. 2016. How do you say this?
Oh, let's get back on topic. Let's get back on
knife
topic.
Attack, 19 deaths, 26 injuries with
Let's get back on topic.
2017 London Bridge attack. 8 killed, 48 injured with a knife.
Much worse can be done with guns.
Yeah, thankfully it was only a knife.
Okay, if the exact same amount of people died, would it make any difference?
Make any difference of what?
If that same person did that exact same crime with a gun, in those exact amount of people.
If they were able to stab 18 people, imagine how many people they could have shot.
Like 18,
literally.
I don't know.
I mean, if anything, that's a win for the United Kingdom.
That they got stabbed, 18 people. That's a win.
It's better to get stabbed than shot.
Have you ever been stabbed or shot?
Have you?
No, but my grandpa has. He has been shot in the foot, and his it
sounds like we should be talking to your grandfather.
Yes. May we speak to your grandfather?
But you don't believe me?
Well, I mean, he's coming up a lot. I'd like to hear it firsthand. I mean, if that's an option.
Yeah,
if not, we can schedule
go get
later.
my 68-year-old grandpa to come on a Discord call.
It's happened before.
He doesn't even know what Discord is.
My facts say that this is completely possible.
Okay. You know what?
And also, your grandpa's not really a trusted source since we don't really know who he is.
I can see the scars on his foot.
I don't see the scars on his foot.
Yeah. So let's move on from this grandfather talk, and perhaps to maybe take some questions from the audience.
Ooh, we have to turn back on the allow requests. Okay. So we open up the floor.
I'm still convinced y'all are being ironic.
You can be convinced all you want, but
saying that it's better to be stabbed than shot.
Well, you're taking what I said out of context.
Yeah.
No, that's literally your exact words.
No, you're taking what I said out of context. Requests. Would you like to take some requests, Schrodinger?
Requests, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll ask Nubian. Do you wanna pick?
Yeah. So I'll just scroll through here, and we have Jebs. Yeah, I've sent you an invitation to speak. Yes. What is your question?
All right. So I listened to the whole debate, and basically I wanted to ask if, make sure that there's going to be, no hard feelings between this. Because, Schrodinger, he's, popular on YouTube. So if he wanted to, he would have, the potential to send a bunch of his people on here, kind of like he's already done to...
No, y'all requested that. I told you that you would say I did that.
I think Schrodinger is going to be fine. I think Schrodinger is fine. I'm not worried about any. Are you
seriously going to accuse me of trying to raid y'all when you specifically wanted me to invite the server and even want me to put it on YouTube? Which
I don't know why we're.
No, we don't want to get raided. I just wanted you to have your people in your camp as well as my people in my camp. Yeah, that's all that was about. That was just to err on the side.
What
of
are you going on about, Jeb?
That was my first question.
Yeah. Okay, that's it, Jeb. Thank you for your question. Okay, we have Chelsea Beckham. Yes, I've invited you to talk.
There should be a button at the top of your screen that says accept.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm new to this whole thing. Well, I have a question for Schrodinger. Having a gun is a huge responsibility that requires a lot of caution and security, and I think we all could agree on that. But how do you resist the urge to use this gun to kill?
Because I'm not a psychopath. How do you resist the urge to not run over people on the side of the street? It's the same thing.
I don't think so.
It is exactly the same thing.
No, because vehicles are used to transport. Vehicles are used to transport, guns are used to kill and defend. So how do you resist that urge? Because I'm sure when you hold it, you naturally feel that urge.
Have you ever held a gun?
No, I would never.
Okay, well maybe you should try it and see if
But
you
there's
feel
a
like
lot of
just killing
psychology behind it.
If you're driving a car down the street and you see people crossing the street, do you get the urge to just run them over?
No, because it's a car. There's a difference.
No, there's no difference. I've used guns for many years.
Can you use like a relevant comparison, please?
That is an extremely relevant comparison. Do you hold a kitchen knife and decide you want to kill people all the time?
No, because it's a kitchen knife. Maybe if I had a weapon knife, possibly, but I do not. A kitchen knife is designated for cooking. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, so if I have a over-under shotgun designed for skeet shooting, which is not harming anything, that's harming a clay disc, if you don't know what skeet shooting is, saying that a kitchen knife is not designed for that or whatever. Do I hold that shotgun?
Find another question here.
Yeah, sure. You see the flaws in your argument. Okay, move on, I guess.
We have, let's see here, Captain Nutter Butter.
You should invite
1 moment, please.
9109 next.
We can do 9109 next.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. I've got a question for you, Schrodinger.
All right.
Earlier, you mentioned, actually in the discussion, we were talking about like a civil war and firearms and stuff like that. And I briefly remember a period in time where it was mentioned that what would keep Joe Biden from using a nuclear firearm against the United States population.
A what?
So you said that a nuclear bomb. There was a mention of a nuclear bomb somewhere in there.
No, okay. I guess you misspoke for a second. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I probably
nuclear
did.
Firearm.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Anyways, so you said that he can't do that, correct?
I'm saying I didn't say he physically couldn't do that.
Right, of course.
Well, he probably couldn't actually, like, if he decided that, he probably couldn't, because there's definitely a few people that he would have to go through first. I don't think it would happen. But let's just say that if he could.
All right, that's definitely a fair point. So with that being said, would it be safe to also assume that rules and regulation do what they're supposed to do? Considering as he wouldn't be able to do that with rules and regulation. So on that same breath, we can assume that rules and regulation can stop the sale and distribution of illegal firearms.
I think there's a very big difference between launching a nuke and owning a gun. Because here's one thing. I don't agree with nukes. I think nukes are a horrible thing that shouldn't exist, because
I agree with you.
It just destroys human life. It just kills civilians most of the time.
True.
Nukes are not a good thing.
True.
But, okay,
right.
One thing you're also saying, though, is like this is a thing that is extremely complicated to create. There's a reason that only very powerful governments have them, and it is not the same with guns, because people know how to make guns. They are extremely simple compared to that. And one thing, what I was mainly talking about with that whole thing is that it's not that he couldn't do it because he's not allowed to. It's that he couldn't do it because it makes no sense in a point of, like, if you are fighting for the side of gun control, fighting against the side of pro-gun, and you nuke everyone, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what kind of government would you be with no one left to govern?
I mean, you'd have
right, but it's not meant to make sense. It's a hypothetical. I'm just wondering about the rules and regulation aspect of it.
Why would I have to worry about fighting against nukes then?
Because it's a hypothetical, I mean, you're assuming you're going on you're making this hypothetical off of the pretense. Can I speak? So we're making this hypothetical off of the pretense that rules and regulations are meant to be followed in this case, in which we can also assume that with gun control, we can assume that rules and regulations will be followed in that case as well. Correct?
No, because there's a really big difference in levels of security.
Okay,
Like
so
an extremely big difference. Okay, think about the process to firing a nuke, launching a nuclear missile. Wait, I don't know. I don't know the exact process, but it goes something like, it's not just one person makes that decision, and there's a lot of technology that goes into it also, and a lot of coordination between many people. In saying that there's a rule that you can't just launch it willy-nilly makes sense because it has to go through several people. But saying that rules and regulations like that exist for guns, well, I mean, they do. I mean, say, for example, there's a rule that says I can't, I don't know, let's say make a machine gun or something. Well, if I know how to, I can pretty easily. I don't have to go through the entire United States government to do that. I can just go in my garage and make a machine gun.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that was my question. I appreciate you answering it to the best of your ability.
Out of curiosity, does what I said make sense to you?
I see what you're saying. I was just curious where your stance was on that because I was curious about the rules and regulations.
Sure.
Schrodinger, do you want to pick the next one?
Yeah. Can I get 9109?
Okay. 9109, you've been invited to speak.
Hi. So I have a question. So how do you like ensure that you're
who's your question directed to?
Yes.
You.
Me, Caspian?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you ensure like your rights are not being violated by the government? How do you make sure that like you can have your basic civil rights when you don't have like the power, you don't have the tools to fight for it? When guns are banned, when the opposite voices are suppressed in your country, how do you make sure that?
Well, first, what we have to do is we have to change the culture in America to be less reliant on guns. And from that, what we can do is we quit electing, Nazis to office like, 45. It's a big one.
5.
There's a lot of difficulty
Wait, do y'all not allow saying Trump? Just out of curiosity.
I prefer not to say it. I don't want to give them.
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, so can I say something?
Okay.
So basically, I'm just curious, like, because this all sounds pretty ironic to me. This entire server. So I'm living in China right now. I'm living under an authoritarian government, and I know well what will happen if we don't have freedom of speech. We don't have our human rights here. So
we're not arguing against freedom of speech. I mean, we've made that clear numerous times.
Because
hold on, let me finish talking. We've never argued against freedom of speech. The only thing we've ever argued against was hate speech. Well, the only thing we've argued against was hate speech. But the wonderful thing about this country is we have a justice system that does protect your rights. And if you have a case where your rights have been violated, you'll be protected under that.
Not if you're dead.
True.
Not if you're dead.
Not if you're dead.
It's very hard to.
You can't go to court, bro.
It's very hard.
Who's shooting you without a gun?
They will still have a gun.
It's not in a perfect world.
True.
Okay. There's no perfect world. A utopian society does not exist.
It doesn't exist at this moment in time. But that doesn't mean it can't exist in the future.
True.
It's very hard to impose like a full-scale 100% gun ban. People that want to commit
you can't just say true to something that hasn't happened.
I can't hear both of you all at the same time.
Okay, so if a criminal wants to commit a gun crime, they will always find more than a way to obtain a firearm. Civilians are those that need the firearm to protect their own interests.
Not in Australia or Japan.
You can get a gun like.
No, you can't.
There is a mafia in Japan, and they can obtain illegal firearms.
There's no mafia in Japan.
There is mafia in Japan.
Mafias are Italian.
Yakuza.
Well, that's not a mafia.
It's the same
like
thing.
mafias.
I don't know. I don't know much about the Yakuza. We used to have someone here that knew a lot about them, but I don't know too much. If they were still here, I would be happy to invite them here. But unfortunately, they have left.
True.
But regardless,
Hey, that's not fact checking.
That's not fact checking for.
You can't just say true to everything Caspian says.
Well, no, it's true that person was in the server, and it's true that they knew a lot about the Yakuza.
Okay, but you were also saying that a utopian society will exist in the future.
I never said it will. I said it could.
Well, then that's not. You can't just say true to everything. That's not.
I'm not. I said
let's get back on topic. Let's get back on topic. Did I answer your question? 9109.
No, you just told him that he lives in a dystopian society and that he should not be able to have.
No, I said that. No, I said that we need to strive towards a more utopian society, which is totally achievable.
China is what happens when you do that.
I don't know what you mean, but I don't know. I don't know enough about foreign policy.
Where are you on the political spectrum?
I'm a centrist.
Okay.
More like authoritarian. I don't know, right or left.
That does not sound centrist to me, sir.
Yeah.
Or whatever your pronoun is. They, he, XYR.
Okay, thank you for your question.
I come in here to ask a question.
Okay.
This question is put towards the better debate candidate, Caspianfaith. Caspianfaith, what do you think about how Kyle Rittenhouse is a unethical monster?
What do I think about it? I mean, you summed it up pretty straightforward.
Answer my question, please, Cass.
It's going to be a shame when he walks free because of a biased judge, and I totally support the peaceful protest that will happen afterwards.
Yeah, wow, that was such a great answer.
Okay, thank you for your question.
Ironic. You're basically confirming it.
Okay.
You're confirming that this is an ironic server with the I will
next
support
question,
the peaceful
will we
protest.
go into on break?
It's got to be ironic.
You've been invited to speak. I don't know. Again, you're still trying this little stick, trying to trivialize what's going on here. Are you again? You tried it when you were back into a corner earlier. And now you're doing it again.
Hi, Unbreak.
Hello, Unbreak.
Hello. My question is for Schrodinger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know that you're pretty open with gun control, right? I mean, you don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, what about when people are like 3D printing these big clips that they can make without a trace?
I think it's awesome.
But it's without a trace.
Okay, and you don't have to register magazines, you know. You can go to the store and buy a magazine.
Right, but they could trace the magazine if you bought it. But if you 3D printed it, they can't see it.
What are they going to do by tracing it? Let's say if you were going to do something malicious and you went and bought it, and now it's in a database, or, well, it's not actually, because...
Well, the government could look up the serial number.
Okay. Magazines do not have serial numbers, generally.
Well, why not? They should. Otherwise, how would they know who shot the gun?
Because that makes no sense. If you... What?
You're at a loss for words. You're at a loss for words. Unreal.
Yeah, clearly.
Bye-bye.
That
Thank you for sharing the truth. The truth.
I know you're joking. You don't have to PS me on break.
Okay. Anyways, I don't know. You seem to have a fair point, if you ask me.
Schrodinger, do you want to pick the next question?
Yeah. Can I get watermelon cheese?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Water down cheese. I invited you to speak. Hello.
So I would actually like clarification from the fact checker on one of the sources. So regarding the Jocelyn law firm source, did you cite or did you fact check the sources that were cited on that infographic, or did you just look at the infographic?
Was that question for me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, silly me. Can you repeat the question?
Did you look through the sources that were cited on the infographic from the Jocelyn Law Firm source?
The Jocelyn Law Firm source. Well, I didn't really look into it because it's not a .gov, it's a .com, and it's law.
Sure, but the infographic has sources on it, so I was wondering if you looked at those.
Oh, those are the FBI ones, and those are the ones that are outdated because those are the old links, and those are 2019, and even the 2021 one says it's outdated.
I wouldn't really call 2022 outdated.
2022.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah.
It's not 2022.
I said 2021.
Okay.
Mm.
Gun crime has not vastly changed since 2020.
Well, but you don't know that because, like, with COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah, when the Trump
2020 was kind of
and like Biden and stuff.
2020 is probably one of the worst years actually, with how much violence
But like with
there was.
Biden and stuff.
Okay, but no, 2020 was probably one of the worst years, like just in general. I'm not talking about like one side or the other. I'm just talking about like we can agree there was a lot of violence, right? I don't care if you say if it was BLM or Trump protesters, whatever. There was a lot of violence in 2020, right?
True.
Yeah. Okay. So I would okay. I wouldn't say 2020 or 2019 are just extremely outdated for FBI gun crime statistics.
Well, I didn't say extremely. I just said that we don't know like if this information is accurate. So I'm like leaving it up so it's kind of like a multiple source.
You're just saying it's outdated, therefore just invalidating everything just by saying that.
Well,
When
I'm
was
just
your
saying we
source
shouldn't.
posted from the university?
From the university.
Yes. What year was that?
2021, February 23rd.
Okay, so I guess apparently in 2021 everyone switched to rifles. That doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, I'm just saying that there's like some moldability. Those numbers are like probably changed by now.
Not really. Because
Well, you don't know that. Neither do I.
Yeah, I do, because crimes are often committed with pistols because they're small and they're easy to carry. A lot of people have them. It's not like rifles aren't just around everywhere. They're usually in people's homes or when they take them to the range or something like that. Or
I mean, I know a lot of people that keep them in their glove boxes and stuff like that. So I think that they're pretty mobile.
In your glove box?
What about it?
Not even. I don't think you're right. You'd have to have a really big glove box.
No, it's possible.
It's possible. You can fit it in there.
I'm not saying that you can't put it in your car. You can obviously throw it in the back seat. I mean, I've carried a Barrett in my car before. And
I don't know what that is.
It's a big gun. But I'm talking about on your person. You don't really carry rifles. I mean, like, has it been done? Yeah, I've seen it been done, but it's like.
Shirt?
Okay, now we can take another question.
Here, go.
Okay.
I had a very important question.
What?
This question is for Schrodinger. Is that an anime in your profile picture? Why did you just laugh at that? Is there something funny about that to you? You're using
opinion invalid now?
No. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to cool myself up. You do know how hateful anime is, right?
You know how hateful beards are from your profile picture? A racist always have beards. You know that.
WTF.
Donald Trump is clean shaven.
Now you're trying to hit me with ad hominem attacks because you can't answer the question?
Yeah,
you know how hateful anime is, yes or no? Is that a no?
Okay.
No. Are you joking?
I'll understand why you think it's
sound like a joke?
Just answer the question.
There is very funny.
You know, anime is used as a form of oppression. I hate. What
Sounds
do you
like
have
being backed into a corner and coming up with something different, right? Anime is hateful. I see
It is
anime in
hateful.
your profile picture.
I don't.
Sure. I see a beard in your profile picture, therefore racist.
It's a mask.
Yeah, I'm wearing a mask.
Okay, sunglasses. That's hateful.
See, now you're reaching at straws.
Like you aren't.
Anime has been well documented as being a very hateful art form. I mean, there's so much cultural appropriation in it.
By the Japanese to their own culture? You are joking.
There's also sexism and objectification of women.
A ton of objectification of women.
Yeah,
I mean, look
I
at your
see
character.
that.
They're not even wearing a shirt. And I'm talking about the depiction I'm talking about the depiction of POCs in anime. They are often depicted in very racist factions when they ever even have an African American.
I'm not from Japan.
we do not support your hate images. And that was my question.
Also, my character is wearing a shirt. I don't know what you're talking about.
And holding a bunch of death machines. F you, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your question, Norm.
You're welcome.
I am now
I apologize. I didn't get the answer that you deserved.
This is an ironic server because that has got to be a joke.
Again, you're just trivializing the question for no reason.
Sure.
Just answer the question and move on. You kind of like pussyfooting around the answer. It's really like long-winded.
Fun debate is your profile picture anime. You know that's hateful. Oh yeah, I'm the one pussyfooting, right?
Yeah,
Norm is very passionate about topics like that.
Yeah, you see how I had to calm him down? He's serious.
Yeah.
Do you want to pick the next question, or would you like me to pick the next question?
Sure. Who wants to a question? Let's see. Where are you? I just saw him earlier. Give me a second.
Hi.
Who's sleepy?
Sorry, Schrodinger. I was already invited by Spiritual. So okay. I wanted to first of all, I wanted to say it was a very respectful debate, and I think everybody's doing phenomenal. Obviously, I'm a little biased, and so I have a two-part question. So one, as you can probably agree, a lot of so-called self-defense gun murders are caused by scared, people who decide to stand up for themselves by bringing a gun and using it to blast people. Wouldn't it make sense to have some sort of common sense safeguard, like to stop emotional murders, for like a dutiful requirement to keep your firearm in a locked container outside the home, or for the person
outside the home?
Can I finish? So outside
the home?
Yes, outside the home, or for the person to have to be required by law to notify the police before using the gun in self-defense. And the reason for this, I think, it would avoid heat-of-the-moment murders, allow for other methods of resolving conflicts, and notify the police. I think a lot of times people, jump to bringing their gun if they think they're getting broken into or something like that. And so this would give them, give us a little extra time to get a hold of their feelings and then assess the situation. What do you think?
I think you're definitely being ironic because there's no way that any reasonable person would think that a self-defense situation happens over the course of like 2 hours to like.
That's not. It would take you it would take you 2 hours.
The cops and ask, "Hey guys, I'm going to use my gun. Let me go drive to pick it up."
Three digits on your phone, and that's 2 hours. In exchange,
drive to go get
in exchange for not taking somebody's life, just
because your own life is going to get taken.
So about the Dallas shooting with the off-duty officer who just shot somebody because they were in their home, and turns out they were in the wrong home.
Wait, I think I did hear about that, but there you go. That's someone their house being intruded, and I feel like that
it wasn't even their house. They came into the wrong apartment.
In the wrong.
Well, that's the thing is
the person in the house should have been able to defend themselves.
Okay,
against the intruder, knowing whether or not it was a cop. I think grades are kind of stupid.
Okay, so things like this show that a lot of those kinds of self-defense murders happen in the heat of the moment. And
Yes, obviously, because I get warned that I'm going to be mugged and then I'll wait 10 hours.
It's not about, okay, it's obviously if you have an alarm system, right? Everybody's got alarm systems, you would know. It wouldn't be, it doesn't, it doesn't take,
So you're in a coffee shop, you don't have an alarm that somebody's going to come murder you.
In a coffee shop?
Yeah, say somebody.
Well, I'm talking about in the home. Well, I'm not talking about coffee shop. I'm talking about in the home.
What you said on Twitter, and they're going to come shoot you.
Okay, well, obviously, then don't put yourself in a situation like that. Don't argue with people on Twitter. I mean, there's a lot of steps you can take to prevent violence.
So, very First Amendment, I see.
Okay, well, okay. So in New Mexico, there's a technology with the Adams Legacy Alarm Company that so part of their alarm system was a remote lock box where a person would put their firearm in, and so if the alarm goes off, the person gets you get a call from your alarm company. How
do you stop people from just not putting it in the box?
You don't, but if you want, I mean,
this whole thing is stupid.
It's not, because it's actually very popular in New Mexico, and people would put their firearms in there. That way, when the alarm company calls, if they get broken into, you keep interrupting me, and it just shows that you know that I'm onto something with this. So if the operator would obviously call just like they would in any other situation, and then if you explain the situation, they say, okay, that does sound like a self-defense situation. And they can remotely unlock the box. At the same time, they notify the authorities and the ATF and make a log. So you were within. So at that point, you have.
But can you lie about it? Can you say, hey, somebody's breaking into my house, and then I just go shoot my neighbor? I don't know.
Yeah, but you're
gonna lie about it, and now you're legally protected.
You're going against the spirit of obviously what it was intended for, and that's a strawman argument.
People do.
So okay, well, if you're not gonna argue, if you're not gonna talk about in good faith, then that was my question. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Really.
I don't understand.
Sorry.
Hey,
can't hear you.
I appreciate you saying that.
Cannot hear you.
Your mic's a little laggy there, Nubian.
Can I get Kuko?
Sorry, I banged on my desk, and I seem to have. Anyways, I don't really appreciate you just calling questions dumb and discrediting them instead of just answering them.
Can I get Kuko for
in good faith.
So who do we want to go next?
Kuko.
Yeah. Okay. One moment. 8765. I've sent you an invite.
After Kuko, I would like 4012.
Okay, 8765, ask your question. Oh no, you seem to be muted. Okay, so
Kuko was next.
4012.
No, Kuko.
Okay.
Kuko was next.
Kuko.
Who's okay? I see Kuko. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Kuko, you've been sent an invite to talk.
Kuko Mayor.
Okay, Kuko.
Hello.
What's up?
Yes, go ahead. Ask your question.
All right. First off, I would like to say, yeah, I'm racist. I have an anime profile picture. That makes me racist.
Okay.
But you didn't let him ask his question.
No, he was going to say something racist, I could tell.
No, he was just agreeing with y'all saying that anime is racist.
No, he was just... No, okay, Jack, you've been invited to speak.
That's what he was saying.
I don't know why you're laughing. Nobody said anything.
Because it's absolutely hilarious. Y'all don't get jokes.
Okay, Jack.
We're a community server. We're a community server. We're under a lot more description from Discord, so we have to keep this thing a lot safer.
You obviously know how to tell jokes because this entire server is one, and I'm sure of it.
Okay, Small Galaxy, you've been invited to talk. Small Galaxy.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question.
Small Galaxy.
All right. So I have a question for Caspian.
Okay.
Just a little thing. Do you know what the large amount of bombings that the Taliban have done, do you know what that is from? Like the thing that... Oh, God, sorry. I'm really bad at finding words for things.
Are you asking?
What
Are you
they
asking
use?
what
Do you know
they
what
use?
Yes.
What do you mean?
The substance that they used for the bombings that the Taliban...
He's asking, what do they make bombs out of?
Well, I don't know the chemistry about the bombs, but I know the root cause of their bombings is because of United States imperialism and third world countries that have oil. I don't know about the chemistry on all that, but
I'm talking like from knowledge I've gained from my father, who was a 13 Bravo in the U.S. Army. He told me that they use sodium nitrate, I think, fertilizer, which is quite common in everywhere. Like, I could just go online and buy it. It's an explosive. Well, it can be used to make an explosive, which is very powerful. It was used in the 1991, I believe. Yeah, no, 1993 World Trade Center bombing before the attacks of 9/11. It was a car bomb that they drove under the World Trade Center.
Okay, what's your question?
It's more of like a point. I'm sorry. It's just
he's saying, if I can reiterate what he's saying, is that...
Are you saying if you can buy fertilizer, you can kill people?
It's illegal to make bombs, and they still find ways to make bombs.
Well, look at the commonality of it. Look at the commonality of commonality of it. That does not happen nearly as often as shootings do.
Big piece of sheet metal, a screw.
You're breaking up a lot. I can't hear you too well.
You can make guns pretty easily. Like it's surprisingly
pretty easily.
So why don't they do it?
It's
they do.
I've never heard of a mass shooting being made with a homemade gun.
No.
Well, I don't know about that happening, but homemade guns have been made a lot, and just take I see a lot of examples coming out of Brazil. A lot of times.
If there was a will, there's a way, obviously, but why make it easier?
Excuse me. In Northern Ireland, there like the Civil War there. A lot of firearms there were homemade. There are a lot of examples out there. You can look them up pretty easily, and that's because they were desperate enough, so they got some sheet metal, got a welder, and made guns. It's not going to stop anything. In Australia, when they banned firearms, the crime rate went up. Actually,
no, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Fact check it.
Source. I'll get a source.
Yeah, our fact checkers.
I don't really trust Gilbert. Can we get a second fact check?
I will look it up myself.
Fact checkers.
I'm literally this is literally my profession.
Would you like to bring a fact checker in, Schrodinger?
Sure. Watermelon cheese.
Okay, watermelon cheese. If you want to request to join, we can add you. Watered down cheese. There you are.
Sorry if you hear sniffling. I'm a bit sick right now.
You have COVID?
No. Allergies acted up and it made me get bronchitis.
Are you vaccinated?
Yes, I am vaccinated.
Okay,
fully. Good. So I just built up a fluid in my lungs. Well, bronchioles.
Well, feel better soon.
Okay. Yeah, drink some warm fluids.
Yeah, I've been drinking water.
Suck it into your lungs.
May I add, for people that are trolling in the server, just don't do that. I disagree with a lot of things in this server, but I have found a few good people in the server. Don't look at the server as a broad term. Look at the people. Just saying.
No,
don't troll the server.
It's a valid point. I did not encourage any trolling and actually advised against inviting people. Just gonna put that out there.
Okay, thank you for the kind words, Small Galaxy.
Fact check complete. Found to be false. Source is posted in Hang Zone 3.
Is it a
Okay, let's do
.org.
Let's do 4012 this time. 4012 has been waiting for a while. I invited you. 4012. You're muted.
Hey, yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is something that I've been anticipating for a while because I've been on both servers actually. So anyways, question for Cass. So let's lay it out. You've banned guns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like let's put it in the future. You've banned guns, right?
Okay.
And the guns, nope, they're not getting it illegally. They just can't get guns anymore. Like their guns don't exist technically. Right?
Okay.
How is that going to stop people from just getting? Okay, hold on. Let me lay down a story here. So, I had a friend, and I can't source this because my friend is like he no longer talks to me, and he lived in Chicago for a while, and he knew a dude who made pipe guns in Chicago, and it could be made out of anything. They took literal garbage on the streets and just made guns out of them. One-time use guns. They robbed grocery stores for food. And there's totally news articles about this. You could search this up right now, and you'd probably find maybe a bunch of them. Like this, just because no actual verified guns are coming in or don't exist anymore, doesn't stop people from just making their own guns. That's like all I have to say. And also, question: how would you stop that? Like, give me the step-by-step plan on how you stop. How I'm sorry, how you would stop that.
Well, in the modern day, we have 3D printing, which makes things a lot easier. So I would start by heavily regulating 3D printing as a whole to begin with, because I mean they make parts of guns, in the span of a day that are reliable and untraceable. So you get rid of 3D printing, you work on mental health and gun culture in America. That's really the big thing is mental health.
But how are you going to, so say you've banned 3D printing, right? There's no more 3D printing, at least unverified.
Okay, can I mention something quick about 3D printing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so 3D printing, you can print like a couple parts, but nothing really important generally. Like you can't just 3D print a whole gun. You can say for a pistol, you can 3D print the frame. But I mean,
it's a pretty big car.
Frame. Okay, but it's not.
I mean, your car's got a frame. If your car didn't have a frame, you wouldn't have a car. So
you obviously don't know how guns work. So
your car would still work, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you could still turn the engine on.
But that's an engine.
You can make a Glock frame pretty easily out of just whatever you want.
But
so just what?
Real quick.
You could still threaten someone with the frame, and they wouldn't know that there's nothing inside it, so it would still count as a gun crime.
It's true.
According to my calculations.
What calculations?
What calculations?
Yeah,
like 1 + 1 = 2?
Fucking calculator, bro.
Can we get back to what I was going to ask Cass?
Sure. What's your question?
Okay, so you've banned, or you've effectively controlled 3D printing, right? That still doesn't stop people from taking literal wood. The guns does not have to be reliable to work. Like I said,
P45 Liberator, for example.
Well, so I think I understand where you're going with this. What it would do is you get rid of the mass shooting epidemic and the firearm death epidemic, and it brings it down to a more local level that's easier to solve on a root cause basis. So that's the goal, is you bring it down to a scale small enough to handle case by case.
Intent to commit a mass killing, just banning anything is not going to stop them. With the intent of that, they can do it with many methods that we've discussed, of being one being making guns, one making bombs, driving a vehicle through a crowd, just literally any of those things.
Yes. So
Yes.
your solution is mental health help and the elimination of gun culture, right?
And 3D printing.
Oh yeah, and 3D printing, right? That doesn't mean there's always going to be people with problems.
Well, you bring the scale down to a local level, and then it's a lot easier to manage and to stop.
Well, of course, but gun control is widespread. We're talking about a widespread
not widespread enough. All I want is common sense gun reform. That's all I want is just common sense gun reform.
Okay. Can I? Okay, something about common sense. Can I ask something? If we were to do like some sort of, I would say the state of the U.S. right now is in a compromised state. It's not pro-gun control, but it's not pro-gun either. It's not 100% either way. So
what are you getting at?
I'm getting at what is common sense gun control? Does that mean that there's just certain things not allowed? Because we already have that.
Common sense gun control. At the start of it is a registry to register every single person who buys a firearm or a firearm part or a solid registry to where you can search up someone's name and see every single gun and every little bullet they own.
You can make bullets.
Well,
again,
on the small scale, there's always exceptions to the rule. And that
do you know what reloading ammo?
Yes, I'm aware that you can reload guns. I mean, I get how you reload.
Reloading ammo, which is taking the case, filling it with powder again, crimping a new.
Okay, that's fine. That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about common sense gun reform. We're not talking about reloading the guns and bullets themselves.
Speaking of.
But common sense gun reform is about having a registry where you can see every single gun purchased, every single bullet purchased, the actions of it. Hold on, let me finish speaking.
You don't know when the ammo is fired.
Let me finish speaking. I'm not done talking. Let me finish talking.
Do you have to register every round you fire?
What's that?
Would you have to put in a database every time? Say if I bought 50 rounds of 9mm, right? You're saying I had to register that. What if I went to the range and shot 27 of those?
Then you need to update the database. File your paperwork out.
What if I don't? And then what if
every single bullet should have a serial number, and everything should be tracked. I mean, if you want that's fine. Then you update a registry. If you trade cars, then you have to change the title on it. I think every gun should have a title. I think bullets should have a bill of sale and a serial numbers on the bullets, and they should be registered to your user. I think a national gun database registry.
Nobody would do that though. That's way too much work.
People would do it under threat of heavy fine.
Well, no, because they wouldn't get caught. There's sounds
no kind of authoritarian.
You literally couldn't do that.
That's not authoritarian. That's protecting people's lives.
That is 100% authoritarian. Look, you could not logistically do that.
You absolutely could do that. We have the resources. We have the money.
Well, then why aren't they doing it?
That's what I'm hoping for, because we have all these Republicans that would rather have people die. We have all these Republicans that would rather have people die than to save lives.
Okay. I'm not a Republican.
Well, I didn't ask what your political beliefs were. I'm just telling you. No, I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about people in Congress that make the laws and veto the laws. I mean, that's the issue with society is we have right wingers that are against this.
This is like saying that you should register every gallon of gas for your car. Like, there's no logistical way to do that.
But that's a false dichotomy as well.
Everything you're saying is.
Nothing I'm saying is a false dichotomy.
Oh, it totally is.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay.
In a nutshell, that's what common sense gun reform is just a full registry and tracking of all people that want anything to do with guns as a hobbyist until we get to that point of elimination of firearms. It's a slow roll into it.
Me and my friend went to go sight in our rifles at the
my friend and I. But yeah.
Okay, Redditor.
I don't use Reddit.
No ad hominems, please.
Okay. Yeah. So you and your friend.
Yeah, me and my friend. we go to the rifle range and we go and shoot, I don't know, 60 rounds each. And then I trade him for a box of ammo because I wanted some Full Metal Jacket or something. Like, I know you don't know what that is, but just, it's something
I know what a
different.
Full Metal Jacket is. It was a good movie. I liked the movie. That's a joke. You're allowed to laugh.
Oh, okay.
Not very funny. I know.
You seem very tense, Schrodinger.
No, that was a
very
joke.
Uptight person.
Sure.
Okay,
Anyway.
let's take some more questions.
No,
well, let's finish with what Schrodinger is saying real quick.
Okay, so then we trade a box of ammo. Like, I give him 20 rounds of steel, and he gives me 20 rounds of FMJ. Now,
what is an FMJ?
You just said what you knew what that was.
Oh, Full Metal Jacket. Oh,
yeah.
Well, I don't think of gun anatomy like you do, so I apologize.
It's bullet anatomy.
Whatever. You know what I meant.
Yeah. I mean, it's apparently just a movie, but whatever. Now, and then he goes home, and he has a reloading machine to reload the ammo. How is any of this tracked?
Why do you even need to reload? Just buy more ammo.
Because it's cheaper.
I mean, you're already buying $2,000 guns. I mean, how much cheaper is it really?
So
that's like buying a Lamborghini and complaining about the oil change. Like, obviously you can afford it.
Okay, so I guess saving money is not a concern to you at all. But let's say he does it for fun because it's an enjoyable thing.
It's you can save money, but if you're going out and buying multi-$1,000 guns, if you're buying multi-$1,000 guns, you can afford what is it, a $50 box of ammunition?
I'm saying that's a stupid argument. Saying that I shouldn't want to save money at all. I'm saying that is the reason for doing it, is to save money.
If you have every single thing accounted for, then you know exactly.
But it's not accounted for.
If there's a registry, you know everything that's been accounted for.
No, because I didn't register because it's not accounted for because I traded my friend a handful of ammo and then reloaded some.
Well, then in order to not break the law, you need to update that registry with which ammunition you have in your possession.
What is my incentive to not break that law? Because it literally does nothing.
It absolutely does something. Because if every bullet has a serial number on it,
it can be so easily broken and it doesn't do anything to stop crime, then why?
Well, we're not talking about breaking a law to get around a law. We're talking about following the laws like a law-abiding citizen, because you don't want to have to deal with the ATF.
Are unjust.
There's nothing unjust about keeping society safe.
Duty to not follow the law.
Well, your duty is to keep society safe as a member of society.
No. Listen, if
you listen. Your job as a member of society.
Would you follow that law?
Your job as a member of society. Your job as a member of society is to protect the rest of society because that's how you prosper. If you don't actively contribute and put forth the effort into that, then you're not a willing participant. I mean, it's the same thing you can say about not paying taxes. I mean, you have to pay taxes. This is part of the rules of society, is you abide by it.
I see you, ATF. I know you're watching me. I see you in the chat. You're here to watch me, aren't you? You're just waiting for me to admit to something. False? Oh, okay. I didn't do anything. I'm just talking about. I see a user in the chat named ATF.
Do you understand what I'm getting at in the point I'm coming from?
No, not at all. Because, say, for example, like I was saying, if gay marriage was illegal, right? Would you follow that law? No, because it's unjust. People should be free to do whatever they want.
Well, if I couldn't get gay married, then I can't get gay married in a court. So I don't understand.
So you would just accept that, not care?
No, I would protest and I would lobby against it because it's draconian.
What if they don't care?
But I don't understand. So what, you think we need to shoot people to get married?
Yeah, it's false equivalency.
Yeah. If they did outlaw that or something, I would say you should take it into your own hands.
Taking my own hands would be getting eloped. Or moving to a civilized country that's not the United States.
Okay, well, why don't you do that now then?
Because I think this country is still saving. I think this country is still worth saving, personally.
I think so too. I think, I don't like the current state of this country.
I know, I agree. I think Joe Biden is doing a fantastic job on getting us back on track to how we're supposed to be.
Yes.
I don't, but that's besides the point. It's that I don't believe that just leaving the country is the right answer. Most of the time.
I know. I think this country is worth saving, so I don't know the whole just leave thing.
It's
okay, so let's
you go on.
Go on. Yeah. So you want to add a fact check? What's going on?
Well, I was just trying to put this in like an analogy. Like it's like if you drop a makeup palette like on the ground and it has dirt on it, but if you can get all that dirt off, you have perfectly good makeup underneath, and that's why we need to scrape the dirt off and get the world back to how it should be. Thank you.
Yeah, that's completely valid. I don't believe just abandoning it and just giving up is a good thing. That's definitely a bad ideology, is to just give up.
Okay, so Daisy, you've been invited to speak. Yes,
Hello.
what's your question?
Hello?
Yes, what's your question?
The mic might not be working.
Yeah, might be some technical difficulties. Okay. Okay, I see Chelsea is you've been invited to speak.
Hello, I'm not sure if you remember me. I asked a question earlier about how you resist your urge to kill when you have a gun in your hand. Do you remember me?
Yes.
And you answered something about not being able to discover that side of you yet. Well, I have another question. It's called, it says, why do gun lovers put their dumb hobby of stupid violent objects, aka guns, before the safety of real human lives?
A very valid question.
Okay, this is the reason why. Is because me owning, how many guns do I own now? Like 14? I haven't harmed a single person with any of those, and me doing that has in fact
That's what you say.
I have one thing to interject here. That is not my question. I'm just asking why would you rather?
Let me get to it then. Let me speak.
Okay, let's get it sped up a little bit. Thank you.
Jesus, okay. Me owning a bunch of guns have actually, instead of me having this as a hobby has not harmed a single person, and in fact exposes people to the fun of owning guns, and I've made friends over it. I've gained friends that I go shooting with, and we have fun, and it's just a good
Wow, such a wholesome experience holding a killing weapon in your hand with a bunch of friends. You're acting like you're having a little tea party and you're eating scones and you're drinking like black Lipton tea with your best friends in your bedroom, but you're actually just shooting violent weapons that can kill.
Yeah, at a 2-liter of soda, so violent. I'm absolutely
so much of a leap to a person.
Every time.
Do you pick up the soda cans?
Yeah, exactly. And you leave behind litter.
Yeah, because
litter,
it's a trash ditch.
That's not okay. Let me guess, you support land holes too.
No.
Landfills, excuse me. Okay.
I don't have any opinion on landfills.
This isn't really a question. This is more of like an observation I made, so I would like your feedback and commentary. So as you probably know, guns are associated with toxic masculinity. Yet I've observed personally that guns, their terms often overlap with more feminine terms and feminine culture. So what I mean by that is things like, yeah, I'm on it, okay? Okay. So things
But I
like,
need this to speed up a little, hun.
Hey, let's not be
do not
rude.
call me hun,
Schrodinger.
all right?
Yeah.
That
Schrodinger.
was entirely inappropriate. I'm not okay with that. Oh my gosh, I'm disgusted. Okay. So let's go.
You're disgusting.
What about speeding it up?
Okay, I'm speeding it up, but you keep mansplaining over top of me. Okay, so as I said, gun terms are often inspired by feminine culture, and that includes things like clips, magazines, crimp, and jewel.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Why, I ask, why is gun culture appropriating all we have, all our hobbies, and turning it into something evil and vile and destructive?
I don't know, but you could say the same thing about male culture. Why do they call it a Romanian dong?
What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't understand. Is that a joke? Is that a reference to a movie or something?
No, it is. Look up a Romanian dong.
No, I'm not going to.
Seen that movie.
You cannot tell me to look up pornography.
That sounds
That's
disgusting.
just inappropriate.
It's not. Oh my god.
You're a
It's
sick
literally
person.
a piece of wood. Holy shit.
Okay, I get that. I got that from the word you just said.
So, is that offensive?
Disgusting.
You really don't have to tell me what dong means. I already know.
It's a piece of wood on an AK's handguard.
Oh, oh my god.
An AK?
Is it gore contest?
Oh, did AK scare you? I'm sorry.
Well,
Ask Matt
considering
Kalashnikov.
that they're carried around in people's cars, yeah, it did.
Okay, well, sorry that you're gonna have nightmares now.
What does that have to do with Romans?
It's called a Romanian dong because Romanian AKs. Well, okay, this
Please
was
stop
the thing
saying that word.
Do you
That's,
think that
there's no way to
Romanians want to be associated with that?
They freaking made them.
Why are you laughing?
I think it's pretty
Because it's hilarious.
disrespectful.
You're saying they don't want to be associated with them. They made it.
You're kind of generalizing right now.
Yeah, who made it? All of Romania together? Or just a couple of silly, mean guys in their basement talking about
how to kill people?
Yeah.
Wow.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so basically, thank you for your question, Chelsea. Basically,
Yeah,
we've learned that Schrodinger's
Hopefully-
a pervert and he likes to practice murder.
Yeah, and
So,
hopefully you will think about this. Thank you.
I laugh all the time.
I think 8765 is repeatedly raising their hand. I remember they came on muted earlier.
$8765 doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Well, they keep stopping the raising of the hand, so.
Oh, there they go. They did it.
Please stop spamming the request to speak. It's not funny. It's not cool.
I think it's quite funny, actually.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, you seem to have a very
Fact
seem to
checked,
appreciate
incorrect.
very lowbrow humor.
Incorrect.
Oh, I have a really stupid humor.
Please stop spamming me as well. Okay. Let's see who else has Charlie. You've been invited to speak.
So do we have any other questions? Can we ask Doughboy a question next?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm a woman, but yes.
I meant guys as in like gender neutral.
Okay, that's fine. I just prefer to use more gender neutral language.
Sorry, I don't really.
That's fine. Anyway, get on with your question.
So this is more of an advice for you, Cass. I think whenever you have a debate about guns, and you don't have to do this, but maybe you should try like learning a little bit about it.
Do you have a question?
That's not a question.
Oh, okay. Well, I also do have a question.
Know nothing about guns, and you should.
Yes, like when you go into a debate, you should at least
a lot about guns.
You know a lot about guns?
I know a lot about guns.
Clearly, he's shown that he knows a lot about guns.
What's the difference between a clip and a magazine?
We've already discussed this.
No, I
wanted to make sure that you know, because it seemed like you've conflated it a couple times. I wanted to double check if you understood what
I may not know about anatomy, but I know the stats on how many people guns kill every year.
That's not knowing about guns.
That's knowing enough about guns. That's the important stuff
Knowing
about
about
guns.
murder rates.
No nomenclature is not as important.
Charlie is asking that you
Who's
know
Charlie?
even the simplest. The guy in the chat. Are you blind?
I don't see anyone. Oh, Charlie up there. I thought you were talking about watered down cheese.
No, me.
No.
Apologies.
It's okay.
He's saying that you should at least know the basic things of like, okay, what's the difference between a rifle and a
Is that really the most relevant thing?
It is
Is that absolutely the most relevant thing we need to be talking about right now? We need to be talking about anatomy and nomenclature versus the amount of people that die yearly because guns are still legalized.
Let's just prove that you know.
I mean, is this really what we want to focus on? Like the difference between a clip and a magazine?
Define an assault rifle.
It's any gun that fires more than 30 plus rounds semi-automatically really quickly.
What do you mean by really quickly?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Really fast. I don't know how many rounds per minute it works.
So
do you want me to say? Just say, it goes 79 rounds per minute. Like, what do you want me to say? I don't know the exact.
If you're saying it fires really fast, and that kind of
like a bolt action.
Really fast. What is fast to you? I mean,
900 RPM.
900
RPM.
Like if it's semi-automatic, then the rate of fire is determined on when you like release the trigger.
I don't think you should be able to shoot more than a bullet per 20 seconds. If it was up to me,
with that.
You could, not very fast, but it's called a step in the right direction. It's called baby steps.
No, it's called dying.
It's called baby steps.
That takes 20
It's
seconds.
called baby steps.
I have a single shot Barrett. It is basically as slow as you can get, and I could still fire that twice in under 5 seconds.
Well,
and it's extremely lethal because it's.
I don't know why we don't have blocks on that to stop it. So that's if I was president, that's the first thing I would do is limit how fast you can shoot a gun, along with magazine
human
capacity.
ability.
Exactly.
Not if they're electronic.
Guns aren't electronic.
They can be.
The MP155 Ultima, the computer shotgun. Yeah, you don't.
My mom has an Ultima.
Yeah, she has a brand new Kalashnikov group shotgun.
No, it's a Nissan.
True.
But yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's true that that she has the MP155 Ultima?
No, it's an Ultima.
No. Gilbert just fact checked you. She has an MP155 Ultima.
It's the Nissan Ultima. It's a 2016. It's got heated seats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's nice.
That's not relevant to the conversation, though.
What? How do you feel about fingerprint sensors on triggers that would only allow the gun to be shot by its registered owner?
I think that would make the triggers really big, and then
I'm not asking you, Charlie.
Oh,
you're so rude.
Do you want me to leave?
Actually, maybe if we could bring this back to the core people, I would appreciate that. Thank you for your input, Charlie. I appreciate it.
No problem. Have a nice night.
You have like a fingerprint scanner on your trigger or something?
Yeah, there's a company out in California that makes fingerprint scanners for. I don't think it's on the trigger. It may be on the grip itself that has a sensor on it, but it works the same way as your phone does.
No, that literally can be removed with a screwdriver.
How do you know?
Stop a whole lot of.
It's built into the frame of the gun.
That's not how guns work. They do not require electronics.
That's how their guns work.
No, it's not. Guns do not require electronics to fire. You can simply remove that.
Well, having airbags for cars didn't work either until it was legislated. So I think if you legislate fingerprint sensors for firearms,
yeah, but the car still drives. Are you joking?
If you have a fingerprint sensor in your firearm, they can't shoot it unless it's registered to that.
If you didn't have a lock
the owner
on your
itself.
car door, the car would still drive. And if you did have a lock on your car door and you took out that lock, the car would still drive. Surprise.
Yeah, but if you take off a fingerprint sensor, by law, it would be illegal.
Okay, and no one cares though that would do that.
No, you don't care about the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Administration?
No, I hate them.
You don't care about their laws?
I see you in the chat. ATF. And no, I do not care about their laws whatsoever. In fact, I would encourage breaking all of their laws. Because
Wow.
they do not prevent any crime whatsoever and are just completely useless as an organization. They don't.
They stopped the Branch Davidians.
Yeah, and killed like how many children?
How many murderers? Potential murderers?
Okay, children are just potential murderers now.
They can be when they
so you're justifying
raised
killing
in a gun-toting cult.
You're justifying killing children.
No, I'm not saying we should kill children. I'm saying we should prevent children from
I think you are.
to mass shooters.
You said
it's called protecting society. As far as I'm concerned, the ATF is a fantastic organization that stopped 76 potential murderers.
Children. I ain't talking about the adults.
It's not about the age, it's about the potential.
It's the adults.
It's about the potential.
You are literally saying killing children is justified.
No, I'm saying eliminating the potential that there is in the future.
Which is killing children.
That's not what I said.
That is exactly
you're putting words in my mouth.
You're saying it's okay to kill children because they could potentially become.
Is that what I said?
Yes.
Is that?
That's what you mean, yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, well then define to me what is removing the potential threat. What I thought.
Either way, that's besides the point. We can come back to that at a later time.
Sure.
I mean, children were the reason the ATF had to go in to begin with. I mean, saving the children from the cult was ideal.
They did a great job of that.
Well, if the Branch Davidians hadn't set that fire, then we would have had those children around today.
The ATF set the fire.
Did they? With what? With tear gas?
I don't know what they said it with.
I mean, there was wiretaps in the building that had the Branch Davidians talking about how they were gonna set a fire.
Yeah, and where are those?
I can find those for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can search up the court case and you can see the ATF testifying to that.
You didn't seem to be talking about any of this.
Do you not want to protect children? It's the Branch Davidians.
I don't want them to die in
fires. Kill those children. I mean, Waco is just another example of why private firearms ownership has no place in America.
I think what you're saying is now you're just pulling a cop out after.
It's not a cop out. I want to defund the police. That's a joke, in case you couldn't understand.
I know this whole server is a joke. Don't worry.
This server's not a joke.
It totally is.
So I go to joke
if you want me to shut up about it,
I collect a joke paycheck. I write joke articles. Is that what you're saying? Like everything I do in my life is just a farce? I mean, give me a break.
Okay, well, I can come up with examples of servers that do that, but okay.
Okay, well, other servers, not us.
Not like I've seen several DMs of people admitting it is.
I would love to see those DMs.
Okay. Anyway, so let's see, what were they? Give me one moment. Unload.
You still there? What are you doing?
Yeah, hang on, I'm looking for something.
Are you searching up ATF laws that you want to break tomorrow?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want to break all of them.
All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, hang on. I can't find it right now. I'll get it. Give me a minute, though. I'll get it to you. Don't worry. But there was one instance where the ATF and Well, okay. It first started with the FBI, but they messed something up on their part and ended up killing almost an entire family because of it. Because it was like they thought he was doing something wrong, but wasn't actually, and they ended up surrounding his house without them knowing. And what was it? One of them like threw a stick at the dogs to test them, and then of course the dogs started barking. I have no idea why they would even try that. Then the two sons, or it was the son and the uncle, I think, actually, went outside, of course, because the dogs were barking at something. Went outside with their shotguns. Obviously,
do you believe the Black Lives Matter?
Okay, way to you don't cop out, do you? Change the subject. Like
No, I didn't understand the relevancy of what you were getting at, so I just wanted to talk about something serious.
That the FBI killed an entire family or half a family. Something they messed up.
Why are you avoiding the question?
Okay.
Well, can I ask Mike?
You're avoiding.
Do you believe the Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Before all lives matter?
No, because that would not be equality.
So you believe that all
Okay,
lives...
Cash, I'm here for Moses' point. I was asked to come in as a backup moderator. Odie had a question. Can everybody be quiet while Odie asks a question?
Sure.
Odie, go ahead.
All right, so this is directed to people that
Which people?
the centrists.
You talking to Caspian? Okay, what's your question, Odie?
All right, so since you claim to be in know-it-all at guns, then tell me what is the function of the safety on a gun?
That's a good question. Cass, do you know the function of the safety on a gun?
Yeah, it's to prevent murders.
Not
It is probably the most overlooked feature of a gun.
No, not even close.
Well, technically,
what is the safety? Do you know what a safety is?
yeah, like what's the actual part of it?
Yes. Caspian, do you know what a safety is?
Yeah, it prevents you from shooting people. It's the most overlooked part of a gun. Look at the crime stats.
What in the crime stats says anything about
And
that?
The murder rate.
And where?
Okay, how does the safety function then?
It stops a bullet from coming out.
I mean, I guess technically, but not really.
And how do you turn it
doesn't?
on?
It doesn't stop a bullet from coming out. That would just be like a
So
barrel.
please, like,
If you point a gun at someone and you pull the trigger and the safety's on, a bullet will not come out.
That seems sufficient.
Is that wrong? I mean, can we agree on that?
Y'all have got to be joking.
What is about that is a joke? I mean, is that not how guns work?
Technically, he's right.
You can turn this safety off. I mean, yeah, technically.
Well, we're talking about if the safety is on. Yeah, if the safety is on, the person doesn't die.
That's not what a safety is for.
What's it for then?
It is to prevent accidents from happening.
It prevents accidental discharges.
Okay. I think Odie's question's been answered. Thank you, Odie, for your question. I'm going to move you back to the audience now. Would you like to call someone up, Schrodinger? One of your friends? I think Dev Stage keeps on jumping in and out of the thing. If you guys jump in and out, you won't get selected.
Do 9/11/8.
9/11/8, sure. You have permission to speak 9/11/8. Please join the voice call. Thanks.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. 9/11/8.
Yeah.
What's your question? And who is it for?
I just have a general statement. I agree with banning all guns because it would be easier to rob houses and break in and entry.
You have a question?
It's more of a statement.
Can you form it into a question, please?
I just keep talking over that, bro.
Okay, yeah, I agree with banning all guns because it would be easier to break into a house and not get shot by someone after breaking in.
I mean,
your life TV.
A bad faith argument.
Well, that's not a question, but I do agree that your life is worth more than my property.
Yeah, and I can I'll just go in and take your TV and so I don't get shot and I have my own gun.
I can replace a TV for $400. I can't replace you.
All right,
So
Cass, can you please pick a better person than Schrodinger did?
Can we have Doughboy come in?
Sure, we'll get Doughboy in here. Doughboy, you just got
next.
invited to speak. We'll get them in next. Doughboy, what's your question? Who is it for?
Doughboy, are you there?
I can't hear him.
You can hear him?
Oh, he's lighting up. I can't hear him though.
I see that too. I don't hear Doughboy at all.
Yeah, Doughboy, we can't hear you right now. How about this, Doughboy? We're gonna disconnect you now, but
let's come back to him.
Yeah, why don't we'll give you another shot a little down the line. All right. So who did you ATF? Sure. Let's get the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms in here. ATF, you got the request. Please join. Hey ATF, how you doing today?
I know you're here to report me. Get out of here.
ATF, are you there?
Do you have a question, or are you just here to sit in silence?
Your camouflage won't work. I see you.
Okay, ATF, we're going to disconnect you now and move on to someone with a question. Let's get. ATF mic is not working. Then why did you sign up to speak, ATF?
Curious.
ATF says they're going to let me try to fix it. All right, ATF, you stay in here. I'm going to invite Jeb in, so Jeb can ask their question first. All right, Jeb, go ahead with your question, please.
All right, so that was a fantastic debate. It was mostly respectful, and even though I'm a little biased, I think both of you did well. And I know it's going to be hard to change each other's opinions and stuff. I'm biased too. I'm for gun control, but do you think there is a possibility of finding kind of a common ground as a starting point? If so, what is that common ground?
Who wants to go first?
I'll let you go first.
All right, go ahead, Schrodinger.
One thing I believe with having a common ground or whatever is that it's always a slippery slope. It started with the what was it, the 30s? I want to say, no, 20s. I think is when they banned, basically the first banning of a gun happened with the Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because the Thompson was particularly dangerous or anything. It's
Could you explain for us gun nuts what a Thompson is? Because I just know it as a name.
Maybe use Google. I don't know. It's a 45 caliber submachine gun.
And does submachine gun mean it's a lower kind of machine gun?
It means it uses a pistol caliber. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. It started with that, and it is basically what happened is, think of the 1920s gangster or whatever with their Tommy gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kind of became the infamous image of this, and people thought essentially what was going on was, oh no, bad guy used this gun, so this gun must be bad, even though it has nothing to do with the gun. And so they banned that. It's not like that gun in particular did something that other guns didn't, because you could also get some other 45 caliber submachine gun at that time with the same amount of ease.
Well, that begs the question as to why murderers and school shooters pick AR-15s as their weapon of war.
Because AR-15s are literally the most common rifle in the U.S.
Well, there we go.
That's why.
So we need to get rid of them.
But, okay, well then,
I'm glad you agree.
Next, the SKS.
I guess I don't know what that is, but if that would be your next pick, then yeah, I would support it.
Ruger 1022s, that doesn't work,
All right, Schrodinger, would you give Cass a chance to answer the question, please?
If those are guns, you know what? I agree with you, and I do think these guns should be next. I don't know enough about guns. I don't know enough about models, but if you think those are the most common, besides the AR-15, I think that's definitely a good start. So I think that's where we're going to agree on when it comes to gun control.
No, I'm not agreeing with you. I'm
you're
pointing out how
you're given a
ridiculous
list.
it is. Yeah, okay. Do you know how many different types of ARs there are? You can't just ban an AR because hundreds, if not thousands, of companies make ARs. You know that, right?
I mean, I guess I don't know.
I doubt any school
I
shooters.
mean, yeah. I mean, they all make
ARs.
assault rifles. So
Do you know what AR stands for?
assault rifle.
Is that your actual final answer?
Is that not correct?
Yeah,
You're not joking.
that's. I don't know what the joke is.
It stands for Armalite Rifle.
I don't know what that means.
It's a company.
But I thought you said only one company I thought you said hundreds of companies make ARs, not just one.
Yeah, because they don't actually make actual ARs. They just call them ARs.
So then why do they get to name that if they don't make them?
Because they're not usually named AR. What you call an AR is usually something like, okay, just for examples, they name them different things because they're different companies. I mean, sometimes they use the name AR in it, but like just for example, Smith & Wesson makes the M&P 15. That's what you would call an AR. It's not like actually an Armalite rifle, but it's the same design. But you know that like thousands of companies make ARs.
I'll take your word for it this time.
Yeah, we're listening. We're not really firearm people here. Sorry to be the one to tell you. ATF had a question. Would you like to ask your question, ATF, please?
I don't think they can.
Mike's not. Yeah, they said they'll fix it, but I guess they did not. So sorry, ATF. You're gonna have to go back down to the audience. Mike ain't working. Yeah, I got that, buddy. Let's see. Let's get 4012 in here with I think another question.
I think this should be our second to last question.
Okay, we'll have this as a second to last question. I accidentally invited the wrong person in here. Dev stage. So why don't you ask the first question, 4012, and then we can get Dev stage in here to ask a question.
Quite simply, I have to this is a big question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how are you going to manage to get gun control?
And who is this question for, 4012?
This is a general question to Caspian.
Okay.
Sorry. Sorry, Norm.
It's all right.
How is this law going to pass when we drag lobbying into the mix?
Ideally, it would be
realize
passed bipartisan.
You realize there are at this point thousands of gun companies, not just the AR companies. You've got to consider every single gun company, and they can lobby from non-US countries. We've got to consider that. And once we think of the amount of money these companies will push onto politics to keep this from happening, it's not feasible to think that it will pass considering our current political system. I think lobbying should be illegal, but that's my personal opinion. Okay?
All right. Could you give Cass a chance to answer the question, please? Thank you, 4012.
I'm sorry. My brain is broken right now. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Cass, would you like to go ahead and answer the question, please?
So once lobbying will become illegal, then it would pass as a bipartisan law.
Good answer, Cass. Good answer. Do you have anything to say about this, Schrodinger?
Yeah. How is lobbying going to become illegal? Because the lobbyers are going to lobby for it to not be illegal.
Yeah,
it will become illegal by outlawing it.
I agree that just saying, "Oh, we're just going to outlaw it," does not fix anything. Because you've outlawed murder, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Did that stop murder?
It definitely curbed it.
No, not at all. Actually, outlawing murder increased murder crimes by 100%.
I'm going to need to see some statistics for that. Can we get a fact check, Gilbert, please?
It's a joke.
Oh, I didn't think it was very funny.
Because if it's legal, then you can't.
We just have one last question here, so we're going to get Chelsea Beckham in the chat room for the last question. All right?
We've been wrong on too many things.
What was that?
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to move you back to the audience, 12. You're welcome.
It's an honor to be back. I asked you my first question. I asked you about your urge to kill when you hold a weapon. My second question is why why do you put the hobby before human lives? And my third question was, why have you, as gun people, appropriated feminine culture? If you remember. Well, my third question is, it's been... Excuse me?
Please don't interrupt, Schrodinger. We've been respectful for your people.
Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I said that would be your fourth question.
Oh, didn't I say that? Or did I say my next question? Oh, sorry. My fourth question, thank you very much. Let's not get into technicalities here, okay? I know you're trying to avoid my questions based on my questioning history, but let's get a move on, okay? All right, it's been proven by experts that less educated people resort to violence because they can't manage their anger and are unable to stop violence with logic and words. Is this why you own guns?
Good question.
I don't think I can stop somebody with okay.
Oh.
Say if
I can tell.
If I'm in my own home and somebody comes onto my land or something and is trying, I hear something in the night, go over there, somebody's broken the lock on my window and come through the window, right? Do you think it's reasonable to stand there and try and chat with them?
Listen.
Or
personally, you're asking the wrong person because I'm a wordsmith. I'm really great with my words, and I can persuade anyone to do anything. So, but guess what? Sometimes I don't use that power. I withhold it because I know that it could be dangerous to other people. But when it is, it's the same as a weapon. You withhold using it until you need to defend yourself. And that's often what I do. I stop the situation before it even happens by my nature, my nature of being able to put words into sentences and persuade people and to use logic and knowledge. And I just want to tell you that is the best way, because that is something that sticks with them. Okay, sure, a scar can physically stick with them, but if you know how to persuade them, if you know, a physical scar, well, guess what? I will place a mental scar. I will make sure this person, before they close their eyes every night, I will make sure they see me on the back of their eyelids. I will make sure they thank God every night before they go to bed that they did not cross paths with me. That's how much of an impression I leave on people.
I'm sure they shake in their boots every time.
Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So watch it and take my advice. If you need any help, I could start a YouTube channel like yours, and I could make some advice on how to persuade criminals to stop right in their tracks and reevaluate their life choices, and turn into better people. We can fix people. We can fix people with words. It's possible. I know that you and your little gun friends don't like to think that far into the future. You don't like to think about rehabilitation and how we can fix society, because you think violence is the answer. You think it's so much easier to just whip your gun out of your holster and go kapow. It's not. It's not easy. It's not easy. But you get used to it. You really do. You adapt.
I would just like to remind everybody that Jesus used words, not guns.
It's true.
Because guns existed at that point. That makes sense.
So yeah, before you go to sleep tonight or to morning,
I'm gonna have nightmares about you. Don't worry.
No. Don't interrupt me, okay? This is the last thing I say to all people that I'm trying to, so before you go to bed tonight or to morning, because I know that Discord needs like to stay up a little later, I just want to say that you're going to remember me. Out of everyone you talked to today, you're going to remember me. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make fun of you.
WTF. Thank you, Chelsea, for your very, very good question. That concludes the Q&A portion of this debate. I would like to again thank Caspianfaith for joining in this good faith debate. And Schrodinger Cat, you were here. So,
Schrodinger, thank you for joining. I appreciate you accepting the offer. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Also, yeah, if y'all don't want me like posting the stuff about the server being fake or whatever, you can just come out now.
The server. I'm
You can DM me. You can DM me. I won't say anything about it. Y'all can continue.
And I would really,
fake.
it's not.
So,
No,
so you don't just want attention.
No, we want to change lives, Schrodinger. That's what we want. We want to save
all for the greater
lives.
good.
Yeah.
And that's maybe something you don't understand.
Wordsmithing them out of your house when they come to rape your wife and daughter.
Well, maybe you had to make a little extreme there, but we believe in the power of the way, the truth, and light. But the debate's over, Schrodinger. You lost, so
I lost.
Well, that's another one for journalism. Thank
Actually,
you.
Can we fact check, Gilbert? Can we get a tabulation on the overall correctness scores of both candidates?
Are you joking? I know y'all are ironic. Don't worry.
I'm sorry, buddy. Boy,
Seems
but
to know
there's
a lot of
nothing
things,
ironic about
and
us.
none of them are about the progression and equality of society.
All of them were because I don't let myself be put under the boot of an oppressive society that will.
We'll get the fact check to you as soon as
for
we
Nazis
can.
like Trump, and you won't have to worry about it.
I did not vote for Trump. I, in fact, hate Trump.
I didn't say you did vote for Trump. I'm just saying don't vote for people like Trump.
Okay, and don't vote for people like Biden.
The debate's over.
Biden is fantastic.
No, it's not.
No, it's not over. You want to keep going?
You're saying I lost.
Well, you did lose. I'm sorry to have to be the one to break it to you. Well, we did an overall correct. The fact checkers did an overall correctness score. Yeah, Gilbert right now
Gilbert's not the best at fact checking. She used the .com.
I'll have you know, Gilbert is one of our number one fact checkers.
I think she used the .com.
But it was a website from a university.
It doesn't matter. It's .com.
All right, Schrodinger. I'm sorry that you're a sore loser, but it's time for you to tell your people to clear out the channel.
No.
Because we have another use for this space.
Nah, I don't think it will. Stay here, guys. See you later.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining the debate. It's over now. So leave, all right? We don't want you here.
Thank you everyone for joining. We will do this again soon.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to leave here. You all can stay in the audience and just hang out, I guess.